What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with an absolute banger of a video. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Drop a like if you do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and also follow me on Instagram at GBLN420. I have that linked in the description for you guys. Make sure you follow me. And without further ado, let's dive right into the video. So a lot of you may be very concerned by this title, and you probably should be. The $5 gram of wax. Now let me give you a little backstory, a little setup here, okay? This took place when I was still in high school, long before weed was legal in my state, and long before I was old enough to have any decent plugs, you know? Back in my high school days, people didn't dab like that. I didn't know a lot of people who consistently had concentrates. The friends I knew that took dabs would maybe get a gram every now and then run out and go back to smoking blunts, you know? We were young at this point. We were like 16 or 17. So on this particular day, I got hit up by my friend Michael, who's a very common character in some of my high school stories. He was a good buddy of mine because usually he would skip school every day. So any day that I stayed home or got out early or left early or whatever happened, he'd be around most of the time. So he hits me up and he's like, yo, what are you up to today? You should come through and smoke at my place. Like, I've got nothing to do today. Let's hang out. So I was like, yeah, for sure, dude. Like, sounds good. I'm down. So I'd planned to go over there a little later in the day, around like 3 or 4 p.m. And I eventually went over there around that time. And when I got there, it was just my friend Michael there. No one else had gotten there yet. I didn't know who else he'd invited at this point. But I get over there, and he shows me almost as soon as I walk in a new rig that he just bought. Now, this thing was pretty big. It was not any, like, name brand. It wasn't any heady shit, you know? Like, it was a cool rig, you know? Like, he probably got it for, like, $40. But back in high school, we were dabbing off knives and those little juice box rigs that you get for like $20. You guys know what I'm talking about. I know everyone here knows what I'm talking about. You go to a shitty smoke shop and they used to have those little dab rigs that just look like little juice boxes. I know some of you motherfuckers know what I'm talking about. But back on topic here. I get over there, and Michael's got some wax of his own. The stuff that he had was not bad. It was pretty good, especially for the time, because not only was it difficult to find wax most of the time when we were still in high school, but also it was really hard to find good shit. Normally, if you found wax, it was going to be shatter. You're not getting any, like, live resin. You're not getting anything else. You're getting shatter, and it's going to be dark. It's going to be crusty. It's going to be dusty. That's just the way she goes sometimes. I mean, we were young enough where we had to accept it because even the shittiest of concentrate still got you more stoned. That shit still got me ripped back then, and I would put up with the taste. I didn't really learn more about good concentrates and start dabbing a lot until well after this, when I got older, you know? I've only been dabbing a lot for probably 2 years, 2 or 3 years now, and this took place when I was like 16, and I'm turned 23 in less than a month, so this is quite a while ago. But, back on topic here. So we took a dab or two out of Michael's new rig, and it was hitting fine and dandy. You know, it was a nice piece. And we're chilling out, and we're trying to figure out what we want to do with the day. He mentions to me, he's like, yo, I don't have that much left, so I can't really smoke you out like that today. But if you can find some more, I'll throw with you. So I was like, yeah, dude, I'll ask around. I'll see what I can do. So I hit up virtually everybody. I was hitting up friends of friends, dude. I was on my Snapchat going crazy. I was going through my phone contacts, losing control. I was up on Instagram, looking through my following, trying to see if there's anyone I knew who might have some wax. I was hitting up everybody, dude. I didn't care if it was dookie shatter, all right? I didn't give a damn. Eventually, a buddy of mine who we're going to call Justin responds to me. I haven't talked to or even about this guy in my videos for a very long time. Probably like since this day, if not maybe a month after this day. You know, like it's been a long time because he moved out of state. And I heard he does heroin, but that's for a different day. I hope he's doing better now. But I heard he was doing some bad stuff. So I hope he's doing better now. He was a cool guy, but he hits me up. And I hit him up, pardon me, and he replies to me, and he's like, yeah, I actually do have a little bit. how much do you need? And I'm like, well, I only want like, I don't know how much for 2 grams. And I'm sitting here expecting this guy to charge me like, 70 or $80, maybe $60, because we're in fucking high school and this shit was taxed back then. This dude comes back to me and he's like, hey, I got you for $40 total, $20 a gram. Back then, that was pretty good because in high school, we were getting taxed, We didn't have the consistent plug. This guy, Justin here, he claimed he did. He said that his brother made the shit. But I've never met his brother. I have a feeling he just got this shit, like, from someone else. But his consistent claim was always, like, whenever he had wax, he was like, yeah, man, my brother made this shit. And I'm like, what, where? Like, at your family home? He's like, man, no, man, it's crazy, man. He just spouts some crazy shit. So I have a feeling it wasn't true, right? But nevertheless, he had shit that would get you stoned, and that's all we cared about back then. So, of course, we're like, deal, dude, bet. Like, come through, let's take a look at it. So he pulls up to Michael's house maybe 20 or 30 minutes later. He comes inside, and he'd never actually met Michael before. I've known Justin for a little while. I haven't talked to him in a while, like I said, but he'd never met Michael before this day. So he came in, and he introduced himself to Michael, and, they were getting along pretty well. Now, he's got a bag with quite a lot of concentrate in it. He's got this parchment paper. And from what I can see through this plastic baggie with the parchment paper in it that he pulled out, this was a fat slab, right? Like, he had a large amount. So he pulls this shit out. And we've got this table in between us, right? In Michael's room, it was kind of a setup where there was, like, just a bunch of chairs. Like, he slept on a futon. So his bed was, like, his chair. And then there was another, like, really comfy one, then another couch in his room. It was fire. So we're all kind of sitting at our round table, if you will. And we got Justin here putting this slab on the table. And he pulls it out of the bag. And he's like, all right, so how much do you guys want again? We're each like, yeah, just 1 gram each. Like, sounds good. We already had a scale in there, no problem. Michael had one. So we're waiting for him to pull the parchment paper off because it's hard to tell how it looks through the parchment paper. Listen, I'm kind of traumatized by this, picturing this and describing it to you guys. He pulls the paper apart, and honest to God, we held it up to the light, and you can't see through it in any way. Like, normally when you have some concentrate, especially some shatter, you'll see light coming through it. Like, even when you've got a little gram on a piece of paper, you'll see light coming through it. It's easier to see when you've got a smaller amount, right? We held a little piece of it up to the light, and it was pitch black. It was like midnight colored concentrate. Just absolutely rancid. It looked like fucking oil. Like, I'm talking like car oil, So I'm a little hesitant, but it was firm. It was shatter, I think, allegedly. So he unveils this to us, and this is almost like, I was pretty, even back then, I remember being horrified by this. Like, even then, when my standards were so low, I still remember being horrified by this. The first thing that comes out of my mouth is I say to Justin, I'm like, yo, dude, you're a good friend, but I'm not fucking paying $20 a gram for this shit. He's like, why don't you just try a dab of it? So that piques my interest. I'm like, okay, I'll try a dab of it. Now, he is pretty upfront, pardon me. He's like, I know it's not the best shit, but it's just all I've got right now. I bought so much of it, my plug kind of, he told me it was better than it is. And I kind of felt bad for a moment. So we took a small dab of it, right? Michael got his rig. He heats it up for us. And he drops a small dab in and takes one himself. He says not a word. He just passes the rig to me to take a dab as well. But the look on his face is horror. It is complete trauma. It's like he just saw someone get killed. Yeah, I see him like he's got a sweat developing. He's trying to hold the smoke in. He's trying not to cough to influence my opinion. He just wanted me to try it. He passed me. He was like, he kind of gave me that notion, like that nod. He was like, yeah, try this. So I heat it up a little more once again, and I drop a dab in there. Was it too hot for me to drop? Maybe. But that didn't change the fact that this tasted like firewood. It tasted like I went to like a campfire, and right as it went out, I picked up the ashes and dropped it in my banger. This was some shit. It tasted like Reclaim, but like 3 times Reclaim. You know, like it's been dabbed 3 fucking times, and they just scooped the worst of the goop out and just slapped it on this parchment paper. I don't know what the fuck this shit was, but it was rancid. It was disgusting. It was the worst flavor ever. Like, I need a water, bro. I shit you not. I just started like gagging. I just had to take a sip of water because I was thinking about the flavor. Dude, my eyes are real life watering right now. This was such a traumatizing event, bro. You know what qualified me for my medical card? This fucking event. So I hit this and I immediately start coughing a lung up. I am absolutely losing control of my lungs. It feels like they're fucking caving in. I'm sitting here and I just can't stop coughing. My eyes start watering. Michael, he gets up and grabs me a water. You know, he starts coughing too soon after. He's like, I can't hold it anymore. He goes and gets a water for all of us. We all got some waters and I'm slamming this shit. And eventually I do calm down a little bit. And I will say, despite the terrible taste, at the time, it did get me a little high. It did get me a pinch, like somewhat high. But my God, it was just the worst thing to dab ever. It was brutal. So I'm not interested in paying that $20. So I look at Justin and I tell him, I'm like, dude, I just can't even pay close to 20. And he's like, give me like 15. And I tell him 5. Michael's like, yeah, dude, we're not paying any more than 5 a G for this. And Michael's kind of looking at me, and he's just got this look on his face. He's like smiling. He's like laughing. He's like, and he says to me, he's like, dude, I don't even want this. He's like, this is shit, but I will pay $5. So we're sitting there, and we're looking at Justin. Justin's sitting there, and he's like, listen, I know it's bad, but please, man, I'll match you if you buy it for 15. If you buy it for 10, he even said. He went down to 10 and he said, I'll match you. We were not budging though. We were like, no, dude, this is literally the worst wax in the world. Like, this made us cry. This tasted like death. This was painful. I don't know if I can ever fully get that taste out of my mind and my mouth when I think about it. Like, I gagged there just recording this. It's been years. I'm traumatized by this event. But either way, we offer him $5 a gram final offer, and he folds. He's like, it's just 2 grams. And we tell him, I'm like, dude, you got to tell us it's like this next time. And he's like, bro, I'm sorry. I thought I was going to give you a good deal. And I was like, well, you kind of did, but like, this is still trash. So after that, we're sitting on these $5 grams, Michael and I, and Justin hangs out with us for a little longer. We decide that we might as well take another dab, because what's the fucking point? There's no point in avoiding it. So we drop a super fat dab in the banger that we all ended up passing around to each other. We dropped a crazy, not like insane, but it was like a crazy big for back then, right? Like we were younger, so this was crazy big for back then. We dropped like a point, probably 5 maybe, which back then was a big deal for us because, you know, I mean, people didn't dab like that. Like, I'd done a couple big dabs back then. You know, I'd done some pretty notable ones. I did my first 1 gram dab in high school. That was fucked. But I mean, still, a 0.5 was a huge deal, you know, especially at the sesh. That's got everyone hyped. So we dropped that in there. And even though it was this dookie wax, we were still a little excited to take a fat dab. And we ripped it. I remember Justin sparked it first, you know, or not sparked it. He hit it first, pardon me. Then he passed it over to Michael, and then it got passed to me, and then it went around again. This was brutal. This was painful, everyone. This was not it, I'll tell you what. It was absolutely rancid. We coughed a lung up. My face was beet red. I had to run into the bathroom and drink out of Michael's sink because I couldn't, like, find the water. He didn't have any bottles, so I had to find a cup, and I couldn't find his cup, so I just started drinking out of the sink. I couldn't do it. Michael came out and grabbed a cup. Justin even came out, too. This was the most brutal dab ever. It was rancid, and I remember Michael said to Justin, he was like, dude, please don't bring this shit to my house ever again. And we're all kind of laughing about it, but at the same time, this shit was also rancid. Like, he definitely meant it. This shit was awful. So Justin, he was like, my bad, man. Like, listen, I know this shit was fucked. Listen, at least he gave us a decent deal. That's about the only positive thing I can say. He was upfront about it, and he gave us a good deal. So, I mean, what else can I do? I can't complain. So, obviously, we decided not to smoke any more of this shit for the rest of the night. In fact, this shit was so bad, this concentrate, that I ended up just leaving it at Michael's house, my remainder of my cut. I just left it at Michael's house that day. I was like, you know what? There's just no point in keeping this anymore. I don't want it. So I left it at Michael's house, and I even went home pretty soon after this because I was done smoking. My throat hurt. I was sweating. I felt like shit. I had a headache towards the end. The high went away very quickly, and it was just not good. But for the brief moment that I got a little high, I'd say it was worth $5. I'm just going to lay it out. I'd say it was worth $5. But my God, Justin can fuck right off for ever providing that to us. Good friend, missed the guy, but God damn it, Justin. What the hell, man? That was brutal. But either way, man, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at GBLN420. And also, check out my second channel for my latest vlog, Goblin420. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.